going vegan was easily the best decision I've made in my life, and I know that you could probably relate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi guys. So we've been watching other people's My Vegan Story videos, and we've been really enjoying them, and so we thought we would contribute our own. Our vegan story is somewhat unique in that we went vegan together. Just to set the scene, we weren't raised vegan, let alone vegetarian. We were raised on the standard Western diet. We both came from families of a European background. Natasha's background in particular has a huge emphasis on eating meat. If you get out a Lonely Planet guide for Macedonia, it says, Macedonians love their meat. If you want vegetables, go to Romania. And that's on pretty much page 1 of the Lonely Planet guide. So meat was very much ingrained in both our cultures. And I know that for my 30th birthday, as far back as I can remember, I just had a dream of having my own lamb on a spit. So that pretty much sets the scene as to how we were raised.
Yeah, meat, dairy and eggs flowed through our veins just like it does for the majority of people. We remember travelling in Turkey one time, and we were with a couple of other travellers that we met. We were sitting down to some lamb kebabs, and there was a girl who joined us, and she was eating a pomegranate fruit for dinner, and we thought this was the strangest thing we'd ever seen. And she started talking to us about the fact that she doesn't eat meat. And we're like, what the? She was vegetarian. And this was really bizarre for us because here we were enjoying a lamb kebab, and this vegetarian started telling us about all the difficulty she was having with her vegetarian diet and her parents who really wanted her to be normal. And she was opening her heart and expressing herself and eating this beautiful pomegranate. And the four of us, Luca and I and the two other travellers, we just thought she was a complete freak. We actually didn't speak very nicely to her.
We were quite nasty.
Yeah, just putting her down and really, you don't know what you're missing out on. Well, that's sort of your choice, but this is delicious and I'm hungry and I couldn't live on fruit and whatever else you weird people eat.
We really made her out to be a freak.
Yeah.
When we look back now, it's one of our biggest regrets.
Yeah. Our stomachs just drop because we now know what that feels like to have those conversations with people and have people react that way to you. And our hearts hurt. And so if you're watching this, we're sorry. We're really sorry. That was an awful moment and a real turning point for us. When we look back, we just think, wow, that was a pivotal moment where we could have gone either way, but we didn't choose the light. We continued down the path of darkness.
And shortly after that experience in Turkey, we had booked ourselves into an ashram in India for a 3-month period. And we knew that the ashram had a vegetarian diet there. And so what we did was to actually load up on meat in Europe before going to India for that 3-month period, thinking, well, we better get all our iron in now in one
protein.
hit. Exactly, because we're not going to have any for 3 months.
So we get to the ashram and we're thinking we're completely devoid of all nutrients and protein, iron, everything. So we're walking around going, oh, there's not enough iron, oh, I don't have any protein, oh, this or that. And we were really complaining, thinking this diet was just awful, awful, awful. And we had full intentions of going back to eating meat, dairy and eggs as soon as we left the ashram.
We couldn't wait, really.
Yeah, and I remember I was obsessed. We were sitting in meditation. All I could think about were sausages and lamb chops and hamburgers. I was meditating on barbecues. Yeah. Could not wait. I had the taste in my mouth. I could smell it. So it really, really, really was so ingrained in our beings at that point. And then 6 weeks in...
Yeah, they screened Diet for a New America, which was a documentary film on basically animal agriculture. And it was the first thing we'd ever seen about the animal agriculture industry. And yeah, in 1 hour, the host went through why eating animals was bad for our health, how cruel and violent it was towards the animals, and how devastating it was on the environment. And at the end of that 1 hour, there were about 300 people watching the film. The vast majority of whom must have been vegetarian because there was a rapturous round of applause at the conclusion of the film. Meanwhile, Natasha and I
We're
just
like,
sort of looked at each other
"Oh,
and
God.
went, what
What
is
is
this?
this?"
You know, what have we just witnessed? What have we just seen? And we recall feeling angry because we were angry that why had it taken 28 years for us to see and be shown this information, and also, oh no, angry that we would now have to actually change our meat, dairy, and egg eating ways, having just seen what we'd seen.
Yeah, we couldn't go back. So we went back to our room after watching that movie, and we just looked at each other and went, "Can't do it.
No.
Can't do it. It's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah.
How can you see that and then say, oh yeah, but somehow I'm not part of that. I'm not part of that
It
equation."
just wasn't possible.
It wasn't possible, and it was interesting though because you said we're really angry and felt this bloody hell, really. But there was a lightness inside us. I remember our hearts were beating really fast, and it was like a nervous energy was moving through us. It was almost like going on your first date where you're excited, but you're really nervous, but you're thinking about all the possibilities, but oh my God, what's going to happen? It was kind of like that, like a first love type feeling. And
it did feel like something inside us had shifted.
Yeah.
Almost a feeling of choosing something that was ethically right.
Yeah.
And that had a very
good,
uplifting,
liberating feeling.
Liberating feeling.
And also knowing that you were now starting to go against the majority, going against the grain, going against the tide for the first time in our lives in many respects. So that was exciting and it was scary at the same time.
Yeah.
So we remained vegetarian for 2 years. We continued eating a lot of eggs and a lot of dairy. We found as we took all the meat out of our diet, the dairy and the eggs intake went up quite dramatically.
Yeah, because at that point we really didn't still understand nutrition. And so we thought that we needed those dairy and eggs for, iron and protein and what have you.
Yeah.
And
then there was, after that 2 years, there was a 6-month period where we started phasing out dairy and eggs.
We'd started to read up on nutrition in that 6-month period.
That's right.
And we started to become aware of the devastating effects to our health of dairy and eggs.
We didn't yet know about the dairy and egg industries. We had heard, there were points even, as vegetarians, but we didn't know what vegan was. We didn't really understand that was even an option. And then the more we looked into the health aspect and we came across other resources, we came across Gary Yourofsky's speech, the best speech ever on YouTube.
On the 26th of August, 2011. Yeah.
And that 1-hour speech, that's it. That's what did it for us. We watched it and we were crying towards the end. And just like it took one documentary to turn us vegetarian, it only took the 1-hour speech to turn us vegan. And we looked at each other at the end of that speech and just went, it stops now.
He connected the remaining dots for us. And just as compelling as that first documentary had been, this was equally as compelling. Yeah. And there was just no choice left to be made. It had already been made for us. And so I remember we sent an email to every contact and just saying, look, guys, we have just watched this documentary. We're going vegan from this point on. We strongly encourage every one of you to watch it as well and hopefully, make the same choice that we have. We were a little nervous because we knew that it was not going to be received so well by quite a number of people. But we said we had a moral obligation to share the information that we had just come across because it shouldn't be withheld from people. People have the right to know so that they're informed and they can make informed choices.
Because until you know the truth, you're not actually making any decisions. You're not choosing one thing over another. No. You're just doing what you've been indoctrinated into doing from the day you were born by all our institutions in society. So you don't make a choice until you've got all the information and then you can choose the cruelty or the compassion. It's as simple as that. So we have been vegan for 3.5 years.
And I can honestly say, outside of meeting Natasha, my life path partner,
what's he going to say?
of 17 years, going vegan was easily the best decision I've made in my life. And I know that you could probably Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. And that was what was so amazing, as you said at the beginning of this video, was making this decision together, this journey together. So for the health side of veganism, Forks Over Knives is the documentary you want to watch. We'll put links in below. For the ethical side of veganism, Earthlings. Again, you can watch this free online. We'll put the link below. And for the environment,
Cowspiracy.
link down below. So 3 areas covered. If you're concerned about the state of the world, about all the social injustice, the violence that we're seeing, awful conditions and that people are living in, just horrible, and violence. There's so much violence happening at the moment. We have to remember that we reap what we sow. So if we are sowing seeds of suffering in animals, and
the most defenseless, innocent beings amongst
150 billion animals slaughtered every year just for food, and we are ingesting that, we're putting that into our bodies, and what we eat, we become. It becomes ourselves.
You know, you are what you eat. Every culture in the world has that saying.
And then we wonder why there's so much violence in the world. If we can do this to animals, we can do it to each other, no problem.
And we have to make that connection.
Absolutely.
And if you wouldn't do it to your dog or your cat, your family pet, why would we do it to other animals? Why would we pay people to do it to other animals?
All beings feel the same way. They all experience joy, they all experience pain, they all just want to live out their purpose, and their life purpose is not to end up on our plates.
Their life's interests are just as important to them as ours are to us.
Exactly.
So guys, that's our vegan story. We hope you've enjoyed hearing it. We've certainly enjoyed sharing it with you, and we hope it's given you some ideas and some inspiration, if you aren't already vegan, to make that change. Again, watch the documentaries listed in the description below.
Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye guys.